Okay, so today we're going to do a little bit of an experiment with the regen that I've wanted to do for a long time. We are sitting today at the base of Mount Washington. Now, as you can see, we're at the base here, and it's going to take us up to kind of the Alpine resort area about 18 kilometers away. Now, this is going from about 100 feet of elevation now to about 3,800 feet of elevation at the top parking lot. Now, I've reset all the metrics on the car. We're about 47% battery with about maybe 233 kilometers in range. Now, my experiment here I've wanted to do is, can we go to the top on this really steep climb up, see how much battery we've lost, and see if we can regain it or how much we regain by the time we come down to this exact spot. Okay, let's get going. Now, as you guys can see here where we're starting, we're about 1.2 kilometers into this trip so far. My average range is pretty crappy, and that's because this whole entire week I've been kind of trying to, have some fun too in sport mode, but also use up the battery for another experiment I want to do with overnight battery tests and stuff like that, and also getting a battery reset going. But again, as we're going up the hill, it is getting rapidly steep. Wait, we are burning some serious energy right now going up this hill. Already dropped 2 percentage points from 46 to 44 in 3.6 kilometers. And this is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to use this mountain road, because it is so incredibly steep. Okay, and with 8 minutes to go, we have dropped from 46% to 39%. And let's see what our average here is for the watt hours. They're 475. So holy crap, we are burning through some serious juice. Now, for anyone that might be wondering, it's about 10 degrees at the base of the mountain road here where we start, and I assume it's going to get quite a bit colder as we go up, but it shouldn't have too much of an effect on the battery, because I made sure before we started this test that the battery was at a full charge. Now, also another thing to note is that our speed is going to be consistent at 60 or 70 kilometers per hour throughout this whole test, so we get a really predictable, consistent range for the test, and we can see what the actual regen is with exacting conditions. Wow, it is truly gorgeous up here. 4.9 kilometers to go, 6 minutes. Not quite ready for skiing yet up here at Mount Washington. Still at 9 degrees. We've only lost a single degree. I have to say too, the autopilot has been doing an amazing job. Okay, we have made it to the top of Mount Washington. Now let's see how much of that sweet, sweet battery we burned. So as far as battery goes, we went from about 46% to about 36%. So now I'm going to start the process of driving back down the mountain. It was 18.5 kilometers, and we averaged 439 watt hours per kilometer. Okay, back down we go. And as you guys can see right away, we are already in the regen. So that did not take long at all. Very, very steep mountain here going up to Mount Washington. how well this is going to show up on here, but if you look down on the bottom of the horizon, we are above the clouds here. It's just an epic view. Okay, we just had our first jump there from 177 kilometers to 183. Now, as we get back into the clouds here like we are, the car is not going to be able to do the full self-drive because it is literally zero visibility. So I will come back to you guys after that and see where we're at. Okay, we are out of that now. But one kind of interesting thing to note here that I just noticed was that now we're having a regen limit. Now, I thought that the battery would be sufficiently warmed up by now, but I'm still showing a regen limit on the battery. Now, we haven't hit that point at all with the amount of regen that we're using, but it is interesting that it is there. Okay, 2 kilometers to the starting point, and then we will see where we are at. Okay, here we are back in the exact parking spot that we started at the base of the hill. Now, the total from where we stopped was 37.1 kilometers. We ended up with 133 watt hours per kilometer average for the drive as it's testing it. But as you'll see in a second, the numbers don't quite add up to exactly that. Okay, so on the 10 kilometer chart here, we're showing an average of a negative 187 watt hours. So just perfect gain there, and negative 26 on the 25 kilometer, and on the 50, again, we started with a pretty high average, but 147, which is actually really close to the rated average for this car. So where do we end up with 4 kilometers? Now, as you can see here, it's showing the range at, sorry, it's blurred out there, showing the range at 199. So again, we started out with 46%, dropped down to 36%, and then went back to 40%, so a 6% loss. So what's interesting about this is whatever we used on the mountain there, we got 40% of it back. So kind of an interesting thing to see in one of these more demanding situations on the car to go up such a steep hill and then to return on that steep hill at the same speed. Now, what's my conclusion to this? My real thoughts here are that the regen system of this car is really meant for city driving, to regen as much in that stop and go traffic as possible. Now, on this mountain road, this was a pretty aggressive example, but we did manage to get 40% of our charge back. But the use case, even there and back, is still really double the kilometers that we went. So for the 37 kilometers that we went, we almost used double that in range of the car. So it does show the limitation when we're driving on mountain roads. Now, that ended up being 5 kilowatt hours. So really, with my electrical rates here, that was only a 40-cent drive, and I would have spent way more than that in gas or diesel or anything to get up and down this mountain. So still an incredible deal, and even with the regen only capturing 40% back, still really good. So if there's anyone out there that could explain to me why the car put a regen limit on as I was going down the mountain, whether it had to do with temperature or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below. I do really hope that this video helped you to understand the regen system if you're going on a long mountain drive, and it will help you to predict what you're going to get back and how your battery usage is going to be over this period. Thanks a lot so much for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.